welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. I'm that other dude, Andrew, and as always, I'm joined by Heather.
Hello.
And this is episode number 120. And today we're going to be talking about a band called Dunbarrow from, hold on, I want to get the pronunciation right. My notes are from Haugesund, Norway? Haugesund. I don't know how that's pronounced. But anyway, months ago, when we had listened to, I posted about Schubmodel, which was a German band we listened to. Someone had commented, "Hey, you should check out Dunbarrow." So that's all it takes. All you have to do is suggest a band, and I will dive right in. So that's how Dunbarrow got on our radar.
Yeah, and thankfully it's a good suggestion.
That's a great suggestion. So, what did you think of Dunbarrow?
Wow. I thought that Dunbarrow, it sounds like music from ancient times. It feels like it was unearthed and is being presented to us here in modern times, kind of like what a found footage film would be like. My husband and I listened to the album 3 in the car, and he asked me how many albums that they have because it sounded like they've been playing music together for a long time. The music is very solid. He said it reminded him of classic rock and it sounded like doom. I said, that's exactly what it is. And my husband doesn't really listen to doom. He loves 80s music. So for him to notice that it was doom really says a lot. It's very traditional doom, and we both agreed that Black Sabbath might be an influence. It's not the slow, heavy, and thick style of doom. It has a faster pace. And his words were that it sounds like doom without the gloom. I also listened to the album too, and I really like how the singer sings the songs. It sounds like he's telling us stories. It definitely has a very pleasant style. They describe the music as proto-doom, and if you like stories of medieval times, forests and wolves, barren winters, sins and wrath, set to incredible music, give this band's music a listen.
Absolutely. It's funny, too, because I looked up what Dunbarrow meant. That was one of the first, immediately I put on, this is not a Sherlock Holmes deer stalking cap by any stretch, but this is my Sherlock Holmes deer stalking cap. So I put on my cap, and the first thing I always do is, what does the band name potentially mean? So what I found for Dunbarrow is Dunbarrow itself is named after a barrow, which is a type of ancient grave, and dun is a word that comes from Old English that means dark and gloomy, or dark or gloomy. So it's interesting that that it's the doom without the gloom. Yes, I think I did read an interview with the band where they mentioned Sabbath as one of their influences, but they also mentioned a band called Pentagram, who I think they're definitely reminiscent of the early Pentagram sound. That sort of very clean doom, without as much distortion, and more of the soaring operatic vocal than the growling type vocal. But yeah, I listened to songs on Dunbarrow 1, Dunbarrow 2, and Dunbarrow 3. Someone on Bandcamp named David Evanek, I believe he said, a great progression by a band that's already had an identity of his own with Dunbarrow 2. The album is meant to be listened on as an LP, with Turn In Your Gate as an absolutely beautiful melancholic acoustic folksy track ending side 1. Vintage and yet modern, heavy and yet delicate. Although Wishbone Ash comes to mind, the lyrics are darker and more desperate, and the music more distorted and cinematic. quite unique and beautiful. So I thought that was a good description of the band, where they're heavy yet delicate, and that there is doom but no gloom really. That's a great way to put it. And then yes, I used Urban Dictionary. So the only track that had definition on Urban Dictionary was Witch of the Wood, um, which apparently means someone who can keep a penis erect after multiple orgasms. They are referred
Wow.
to as a Witch of the Wood. Now, I'm almost 100% certain that that's not where this title comes from on the album. I can't be 100% certain, but I'm 99.9% certain that it has nothing to do with that, and that it actually is a witch in the woods, and nothing sexual. But I feel like I have to at least visit Urban Dictionary at least once to just make sure.
Yeah.
So, but then I did look up Faber Dram, I believe, means fever dream, which turned out to be more of an acoustic instrumental on, I think, Dunbarrow 1. And then my favorite track was Witches of the Woods Part 2, which, hold on, what did I, okay, which I think is on Dunbarrow 2. So, yeah, that was a very long-winded way of me saying that I really enjoyed this band. And it had been a while. I think, there are a lot of bands that try to sound like Black Sabbath, or who sound, they want to go for that distorted doom and gloom. But rarely have I found someone who I feel like could take, okay, like this is, Pentagram isn't making their early 70s sound anymore. So we need a band to come in and fill that void. And I think Dunbarrow does a great job doing just that.
Yeah. Yeah, they have that throwback style, but it sounds the way that they play their instruments and the way that they play together and the way they put the songs together, it has kind of a modern touch to it.
Absolutely. I forgot, the interview that I saw with them was interesting because someone asked what it was like what are things that you do in, I'm going to mispronounce it again, Hogsund, Norway. I think he asked, do you go like cross country skiing all the time? So I picture Norway having that feel to it where it is doom and gloom. So it was nice that they're able to kind of bring more of a light touch to the music.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it seems like it'd be cold and snowy. Of course, I've never been there, but
Well, it's I mean that they have 3 full-length albums. I think they've released a demo or two and maybe a single. But Dunbarrow 1, 2, and 3 are the albums that have been out. And I think the latest one was released maybe in 2021. So it's been, I'm hoping they're working on Dunbarrow 4. Hopefully, we'll find out.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I do recall hearing from them that the first album had a little bit more distortion, or I think they were probably leaning more towards Black Sabbath in that recording, and then I think they've gone closer to Pentagram, or at least early Pentagram, in subsequent recordings. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what direction they go next.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. The style is interesting because it is, such a throwback type traditional style,
Mm-hmm.
and to play it, in this year 20, well, what is released in 2020 or 2021, or to play to play it, in a modern way is really unique. and that
Yeah,
style, that singing style, that he has, it's there's something to it. There's definitely something, that makes you want to listen. It kind of reels you in and makes you want to listen to it. Like, what is he saying? What is he singing about? You know,
sure.
it's very, very interesting.
I'm also hoping that they do Witches of the Woods Part 3, perhaps,
Yeah.
or Witches
Yeah.
of the Woods Part 4, because Part 2 was my legitimately that when I sometimes I try. The beauty of our show is that I don't have to be objective. Like, if you're going to be a critic or someone who reviews professionally, it pays to be objective and to. But for us, for me, I'm like, no, I'm looking for stuff I like. I want to play favorites. So when I
Yeah.
listen to a track that I'm like, oh, what's this? And my voice rises an octave. Um, so yeah, for this one, Witches of the Woods Part 2, I was like, ooh, what's this?
Yeah. I mean, we do this for fun,
Yeah.
and we talk about music that we like. And there is, we talk about all the stuff that we like, and that's it.
And frequently I will talk about anything way longer than I should and just go from tangent to tangent. Um, but
A
yeah, this was
long-winded tangent.
long-winded. This was a perfect example of, because people don't usually, like, we'll get bands that will recommend that we review their music, but this was one of the first times in a long time that someone actually posted. And I don't know if they have anything to do with the band, with Dunbarrow, or if they're just a fan of the music and we're like, hey, you should check this band out. Because
Yeah.
immediately it was like, yep, I will do exactly that. So
Yeah. It's
if you know bands, if you're out there and you know of a band that you think Heather and I would dig, by all
yeah.
means, send it our way.
Yeah. Especially if it's like in that stoner, doom, heavy psych type category. Heck yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah, send it
We'll
on.
listen to it.
We'll listen to
Yeah.
the shit out of it. And then I'll go off on some story that has nothing to do with the music, and Heather will slowly rein me back in with some worthwhile insight. You know the formula by now.
Yeah. Man, 120 episodes. That's insane.
I
We
know. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And we haven't even come close to running out of bands to talk about.
Oh no. That's never gonna happen. We're
Yeah.
gonna be doing that. We're gonna be doing like, I can't wait until I'm in my 80s and I'm doing this. And I'm just like, yep, right in the sweet spot of doom and gloom.
Yeah, and it's got to be something, when you turn 80 years old and we're still doing this show, because I'll be like 80 something at that point. It's got to be something super, super heavy where people are going to be like, what are they listening to? I can't believe they're listening to
Well,
that.
at my assisted living facility, they're banging on the wall to turn down the music.
Yeah.
They think that like my grandson is in there blasting music when it turns out to be me. Good
Yep.
time. Good time.
Scaring all the other residents.
Oh my god, absolutely. Well, this was what Dunbarrow will definitely be in my rotation. Um, I'll probably put all three albums on, um, because I found stuff on all three that I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm definitely going to want to come back and listen to this again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's really
this
good.
was a this was a good recommendation.
Yeah. This is really
So
good music. Yeah.
definitely check it out, and we'll be back next. It'll be your turn in the rotation, so
Yes.
we'll be back next week. It'll be good,
Yes.
and I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.